Welcome back to Let's Make a Game, the channel where we are making a computer role-playing game using the free program Twine and the Sugarcube format for Twine. In this video, I would like to go back to my Mars game, where we haven't been for a few videos, and I would like to show you what I've added, which is a fairly simple system of skills for player characters, which is partly random and partly has some character choice. So as usual, I will show you what that looks like in play, and then I'll show you how the code works. So we have the introduction page there, and then we have the choice of characters. But there's something new, and that is that we get a little bit of information about the skills that we will have if we choose that particular character. So my life was filled with falsity and I chose bitter truth instead of easy lie. We have a picture there. The pictures are random each time you play the game. But now it says always start with willpower, never start with charisma. And similarly, we have this guy never starts with wealth or willpower. This guy never starts with streetwise, and so on. And then we find if we click on one of those, we'll get a list of skills, and we'll find that it is compatible with what we were promised. So, for example, let's choose this one. It says always start with willpower and never start with charisma. So let's click on that, and we see that we have a little sort of title for the character type, the outsider. And indeed, they do have willpower, and indeed they don't have charisma. And if we were to run the program again, let's maybe just test it one more time. All right, so this one always starts with wealth and never starts with willpower. And we can see that, yes, they do start with wealth and they don't start with willpower. So that's what it looks like in the game. Let's go through the code. So first of all, let's look at the most relevant variables. $C, which is the choice of character type. And then we have some new variables. CN is the title that we get at the end screen, so the outsider, the gambler, the lover, or the murderer. This will make more sense when I show you another one. So we have SK, and SK is a list of skills: wealth, willpower, charisma, fighting, stealth, streetwise, computing. I think that's probably too few, but you know, we'll see what happens as the game goes on, of course. But so SK is the list of skills, and then we have this two-dimensional array CS, which is one dimension is which character we're talking about, and the other dimension is which skill are we talking about. So, for example, this particular set relates to character type 4, the murderer, and we can see that it goes 1, 2, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 1 means that skill is compulsory, that character type will always have that skill, and 2 means that skill is forbidden. That character type will never have that skill. So in this particular case, because we've got, and then 0 just means they can have it or not have it. So in this case, because we've got 1, 2, we know that means they always have wealth and they never have willpower. And when we pick the skills, they will be stored in array S, which is a one-dimensional array. So, for example, if S4 is 1, then that means the player has skill number 4, which is fighting. And then S5 means stealth, and so on and so on. Some of the less important variables that we'll be looking at a little bit is this one, CO. This is just the text. It's really this but written out in text. So, for example, for slot 4, it says always start with wealth, never start with willpower, which is really what these numbers mean. Now, you might say, well, doesn't that mean that this array is unnecessary because we could just write some code that goes through this array and generates this text? Yes, we could, and that's initially what I did, and it was so involved that I realised it was just easier to type them out. So yes, technically this is really unnecessary because we could always generate that text just using these numbers, but in practice I found it easier to have two separate arrays. So let's go through the pages in order. So the first one that's relevant is the page where we choose which one we want. The only relevant addition, the only addition is this. We have a TD, which is to say a cell in a HTML table. In the cell we print $CO $Z because what we're doing is we're going through all of the character types. This is just where we print whichever one of these is relevant to the character that we're looking at the time. The only sort of novel part of this should be this font size. We've got less than TD style. Remember, it's a single less than because this is a HTML command, not a Twine specific command. TD space style equals quote font dash size colon space 0.8 EM quote greater than. So as you might expect, this sets the font size. You might remember this particular text was quite a bit smaller than the others. And 0.8 EM. Well, when you're setting font size, you can do it in two ways, one of two ways. You can set it as a specific number of pixels, in which case you would go some number px. 16 px is the sort of default size, and then you might do 20 for large text and 10 for small text or whatever it may be. Or you can do it in terms of whatever the default text size is, because different browsers and different computers and just different people's settings are going to have different default text sizes. So you might want to set it up in terms of what the default text size is. And if you do want that, you do EM. 1 EM just means make it the default size. And then, of course, everything larger than 1 makes it bigger and everything smaller makes it smaller. I've done 0.8 EM, which means make it 4/5 of the size of normal, whatever the normal text is, whatever the default text is. So moving on, this is where we assign skills. And there's two parts of this. One, we make sure they have any compulsory skills. And two, we give them however many skills are left to make a total of 4. So we set Z to 4, which is how many skills they're gonna have in total. We have a for loop for $y equals 1, semicolon space, $y is less than or equal to $sk.length minus 1, semicolon space, y plus plus. In other words, we're going to go through this loop as many times as there are skills, as many times as there are entries in the SK array. And then we're going to look at CS, which you'll remember is the array with 0s, 1s and 2s. And if the particular skill is compulsory for that particular character type, in other words, if $CS square bracket $C n square bracket square bracket $y n square bracket equals 1. Remembering C is the character type and Y is the skill. Then we set Z minus minus because we know that the character has to have this skill, so there's one less skill that we need to assign randomly. And we set $s square bracket $y n square bracket equal to 1. In other words, if this go through every skill, that's what this line says, and if the skill is compulsory for this particular character type, then reduce Z by 1 and give the character that skill. Note also, just by the way, that we've got equals 1 here, and we've got a single equals here. And that's because this is we're not setting any value here where we're asking whether something is equal. Equals means it's what you do as part of an if. So this means if CSCY is equal to 1, then do something, whereas this is assigning a value to a variable. So it's like this one's like a comparison, and this one's like the assignment of a value. And that's why we use 2 there and 1 there. So we give them, so that gives them the compulsory skills. Then we have another for loop for $y equals 1, semicolon, space, $y is under or equal to $z, remembering that $z is the variable that we started at 4 and we reduced by 1 every time we got a compulsory skill. So that's how we make sure that we assign the right number of skills. And we go set x equals random bracket 1, comma, $sk.length minus 1, end bracket. In other words, set x to be anything between 1 and however many skills there are. And then we do one of 2 things. If $cs square bracket $c n square bracket $x n square bracket equals 2, or $s square bracket $x n square bracket equals 1, then we set y minus minus, in other words, reduce y by 1, else set $s square bracket $x n square bracket equals 1. Now, what does all this mean? Well, so we've chosen a random skill. That's obviously what that means. If $cs, $c, $x equals 2 means if this skill is forbidden to this character type. C is the character type, X is the number of the skill. We go back to that CS array, which is 0s, 1s and 2s. And if this particular slot has a 2, we know that this skill is forbidden to this character type, and therefore we can't give them the skill. And the other element of this line is if $s square bracket $x is equal to 1, well, that just means the character already has the skill. So in other words, if this character can't have this skill, or if they already have the skill, then reduce y by 1. Otherwise, give the character this skill. And the reason we reduce y by 1 is because this is a for loop. For y equals 1, y is under or equal to z, y plus plus. And we want to go through it as many times as we have skills left to assign. But if we get a dud, if we get this one of these 2 situations where either the skill is forbidden to that character or the character already has the skill, we don't want that run through to count. So what we do is we reduce y by 1, and then at the end of that run through of the for loop, it'll do whatever's here, which is as usual $y plus plus. Usually in for loops, it's the variable plus plus. It doesn't have to be, but it's more likely to be. So that will cancel out. We reduced y by 1, and then at the end of the loop we increase y by 1. Well, obviously the total of those two operations is that nothing will change. So in other words, pick a skill, and if the skill is one that we can't assign to the character, then we sort of won't count this run through of the loop. Otherwise, we'll give the character that skill. And then /4, and then finally we go to display. So in other words, this will assign the character as many skills randomly as they have sort of left over from 4. Once we've given them all the compulsory skills, then we assign however many random skills we need to do. And this is fairly straightforward. This page is just the display. So we print the image. I've already discussed that in a previous video. We have this TD. TD style equals, quote, text-align : center, semicolon, space, vertical -align : top. Well, text align center just means center the text in terms of left and right, and vertical align top just means instead of centering it top to bottom, actually have it at the top. And I just did that because I thought it looked slightly better. And we print $CN square bracket $CN square bracket. You'll remember that CN is the array that has the titles like the lover, the gambler, the murderer, and the outsider. And we have these tags less than, b, greater than, and then we have less than /b, greater than. Those are HTML commands which make the text that's about to follow bold, and then this one stops the text being bold. And then we have a couple of line breaks, and then we print the skills. This is fairly straightforward. We set x equal to 0, which is the number of skills printed so far. We have a for loop. For z equals 1, semicolon, space, or for $z equals 1. $z is less than or equal to $sk.length minus 1, semicolon, space, $z plus plus. So we're going to go through every skill, in other words. And then if sz equals 1, we print $sk square bracket $z in square bracket. In other words, if the character has this particular skill, print that skill, increase x, which is the number of skills printed so far, and if x is less than 4, print, that's actually a space. It's a space, then a dot, then a space. So what that does is it just puts dots in between each pair of skills. So it'll have like wealth dot willpower dot stealth dot fighting, or whatever it may be. And that is how you do that. So I hope that was useful or interesting to at least some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.